YouTube, what's up? It's your boy Crypto J coming at you with another J Talks Crypto. If you're brand new to the channel, hit the subscribe button as well as bell notification. Do my best each and every day giving you guys the top picks in cryptocurrency. And guys, nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. We're going to talk about some Bitcoin. We're going to talk about a lot of this market correction as well as a lot of these other coins that I've been keeping an eye on. But before we get into it, guys, just got to let you know that I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice, of course. Don't buy anything that you see in this video. This is just for entertainment purposes only. So again, do not be buying things that you see in this video. But we're going to talk about some Bitcoin. As you guys can see, Bitcoin coming in at 87.1 today. Fear Greed Index coming in at a 15. RSI is still in the middle, right? RSI looking pretty split. As a matter of fact, it's coming in out of 50. Total market cap is up a little bit, but it's really showing some sideways motion. So let's see kind of what's going on again with Bitcoin, because of course, Bitcoin, our market determiner, we have to look at Bitcoin before we look at anything. Again, Bitcoin decides it wants to dump. It's going to do what I call bleed the block, right? So we've been talking about a couple of these patterns on the yearly chart. Of course, we look yearly first, right? So as you guys could see, we really had this sideways trending motion, really like kind of what I talked about with our total market cap. We had that going right here for quite some time. You guys could see we created shoulder, head, shoulder. We dump down, create this bear flag and see some sell off, create another bear flag here and start seeing sell off. And like I was saying just the other day, that we possibly have another bear flag forming right here, saying that we still have not got confirmation that we've turned this trend around really at all. So let's see kind of what's going on some of these more micro charts as well. You guys could see on our monthly chart, we had a rising wedge forming here. We've seen rising wedge form before, right? There's a rising wedge right here, drop down. This is a rising wedge right here. A lot of rejections off of some key levels of resistance for Bitcoin. But again, question is, can we turn it around here? In my opinion, at least based off this monthly chart, it does look like we need to see another retest of possible lows, probably as low as 80K, maybe even lower than that. But there's also some indicators too that we're pretty close to the bottom, which again is good, right? So there's indicators that we're close to the bottom. There's also indicators that we need to see some more sell off too. So kind of getting some mixed messages out of Bitcoin today. As you guys can see, our weekly chart still looking like this sideways motion might be result in some more sell off, right? We talk about sideways motion equals lack of demand. I've been saying that for so long. As well as the fact that we are still looking for a confirmation. I'm not bullish until I see a confirmation. And that's why, again, I've been saying, I'm paying attention to some of these zones. In my opinion, in this range right here, we need to see $92,000 Bitcoin. Can it happen? Yeah, it can happen. We could see a massive short squeeze still happen today. Will that happen? I don't know. Ultimately, it's up to the market to decide what the market wants to do. But again, this 1 year chart looking like we might see another leg down on Bitcoin. And I always do talk about the rule of Thursdays. So, today is Wednesday. We'll see kind of what price is going to do today. If we're going to see a little bit of sell off today, if we can maintain this range or what, right? But again, a lot of people wondering, can we still have a bullish Q4? We're at the end of November right now. And I do remember last Thanksgiving, we did see some sell off actually, even last Thanksgiving. So again, are we going to see similar to what we saw last Thanksgiving, or can we see a market turnaround? We are known to kind of have a better Q4 than early in the year. I am concerned about early in the year sell off because that's what we do see. We do see a massive sell off usually happen around like February to March. It's just totally normal in cryptocurrency. And again, the fact that we're starting to see such sell off right now, I mean, this is not a concerning amount of sell off, to be honest with you guys, because Bitcoin is no stranger to these types of corrections. We're dropping down from 123 all the way down to like 82 so far. But again, Bitcoin's no stranger to doing that, right? 30% corrections are totally normal. As a matter of fact, I'm not even concerned over a 30% correction, but I am a little bit concerned just about the way that the price is looking right now, because if you look at this all-time chart as well, this is showing signs of a correction right here, and this is actually showing that we need to again see more sell-off, right? But also we can also see another short squeeze happen pretty soon, because when you see so much bearish activity, sooner or later there's going to need to be a squeeze, right? These guys don't want you to be able to make money very easily, including the bears, right? There's a lot of people, guys, that are swinging the market right now that are doing great. So don't think that people are not making money. people are making money, but these guys are trading with the trend right now, and right now the trend is seeing correction. So just got to bear that in mind. As a matter of fact, I want to talk about some of these more macro indicators because we've been looking at these macro indicators, and I just want you guys to have kind of like a good view of the market. So one website that I use is called bitbo.io. It's a great website because it shows you a lot more long-term indicators for Bitcoin. Tons of indicators, right? You got stock to flow, you got moving averages, all kinds of stuff. So I do like the stock to flow chart. It's worked very well for me in the past. So let's kind of see what stock to flow is saying, right? We've been talking about this chart, right? So some things that are with the stock to flow chart, and again, this is just an indicator, guys, so it's not going to be 100% every time. As a matter of fact, I've had multiple debates over whether this chart is even credible anymore based off of some of the price action that we've seen. But in my opinion, we're really going to see if the stock to flow is going to be able to hold true very soon. All right, we've been looking also at Trump's last presidency, right? This term right here, right? This time in the market right here. And we've been drawing a lot of similarities to what has gone on in the past with Trump's past presidency. And that's why, again, I was telling you guys, I don't think that we've seen a blow off top, but again, you guys could see what happens when we go from orange to yellow into the green. Sometimes we see some sell-off, right? As a matter of fact, this is actually a major correction. When we turn from yellow to green, we usually see a pretty significant size correction. We saw it happen here. We've seen it happen right here, right? Yellow to green, and then we drop down. And so that's just kind of what I'm paying attention to and a little bit nervous of the fact that we are kind of a little bit entering the green, but can we follow this trend? Can we still stay bullish in this situation, or do we break down from here? Again, this chart has not significantly broken down, but it does have some indicators that are leading me to wonder, again, are we going to see some more sell-off, right? We're starting to see Bitcoin even right now starting to break down to 86 range again. So I'm wondering if we need to see another retest of some lower levels. And this is why, again, I don't trade against the trend. I always say the trend is your friend. And I look for, again, confirmations to look for good entry points into this market. In my opinion, I have not gotten a full confirmation that, we have not seen the lowest Bitcoin price possible. There's, again, a lot of indicators still pointing down. So I'm paying attention to it. But again, I want to show you guys the fear greed index, because our fear greed index is showing us right now that hopefully we're close to a bottom on Bitcoin, right? This is the most bullish indicator right now that I feel like we have for Bitcoin, is the fact that we've seen the most fear in the market really last week, right? We were seeing the most fear. We were all the way down at a 10. And again, every time we drop into this red zone, I'm always saying that this is a zone that I'm paying attention in. This is a zone that I don't think is a crazy accumulation zone, because, this has technically been an accumulation zone in the past. And that's basically what I've been saying about Bitcoin. I've been saying I feel like we're in an accumulation zone right now. What happens in accumulation zones is a lot of people sell off, and we're seeing a lot of big institutions buying it up, and all these big companies buying it up. Now, we've been seeing also a lot of, in my opinion, just price manipulation going on. A couple other indicators on here that I've been paying attention to that are long-term indicators. The pi cycle indicator right here as well, showing signs that we might need to see some more correction. Now, this is our 111-day moving average here, and we've been following this pi cycle indicator as well on the channel for a while. As you guys can see, as long as we've been staying above this 111-day moving average, we've been able to see some decent sized pumps off of it. You could see also times where we have crossed underneath this 111-day moving average in the type of sell-off that comes with us moving under this 111-day moving average. And so it happened here as well, right? We crossed below it, and you could see there was a big massive sell-off. And look, we're starting to break below as well. Now, it's not the first time that we've broken below, but it's also not an indicator all the time that it's necessarily needing to dump, right? We broke below here, and we still seen Bitcoin go on and try to it did successfully create a new all-time high from here, right? So again, just because we move below doesn't necessarily mean it's the end. Sometimes we do, again, see that massive short squeeze, and I do expect to see a short squeeze sooner or later, guys. It's not going to be bearish forever, but the question is the cycle over, or do we still have room to grow in this cycle? And then that part is speculative as always, right? We have a president that's extremely bullish on Bitcoin, telling us that literally has told us in the past that buying Bitcoin is a good idea. So definitely paying attention to a lot of the stuff that's going on. Also, if you look at our beam indicator here as well, right? I've been talking about this beam indicator here. Now we got a couple things that are a little bit concerning about this beam indicator, but I told you guys that once we get into this orange zone, sometimes we do see some consolidation, right? Now normally this zone right here is a short zone, right? Again, we're wearing our yellow. This is a zone where we possibly see a lot of shorts. And then our long zone, of course, is when we're in this green, similar to kind of like the fear greed index, right? Now, one thing I'm concerned about on this beam indicator is, look, we have a shoulder, head, shoulder forming here. It is an indicator that, again, we could possibly see a breakdown, but also it's an indicator that we got to see something happen, right? We could still see a double bottom form here and Bitcoin go on and jump up. We've seen this happen plenty of times. But again, what happens when we go from orange to yellow, right? Orange to yellow, orange to yellow, right? And then we enter that green zone. Sometimes, again, we're going to see a massive sell off, and that's why I even posted on my Twitter. I said, we already seen the biggest liquidation in Bitcoin history already this cycle, but will we see another one? Honestly, guys, it is a reality that we can possibly see another liquidation happening within the next couple of weeks. In my opinion, that's possibly what can happen. Now, is that necessarily what's going to happen? It's not necessarily what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen, right? I don't know the future. All I use is indicators, and I try to just show you guys what I'm paying attention to, right? Now, this is our RSI, relative strength index. Again, I'm drawing similarities from Trump's last presidency into this one, right? Now, I remember before we got our stimulus check, even during COVID, the market was looking funky. We were getting people joining the Discord that were telling me that, oh, the cycle's over. And we seen it again. We did end up seeing a massive correction, and Bitcoin did go on to rally back to a new all-time high. I was telling that guy then that I didn't think that the cycle was over. Right now, again, paying attention to a lot of indicators because this cycle is a little bit more manipulated than past cycles. As you guys can see, again, Bitcoin starting to enter possibly some more zones of sell-off, right? We're seeing it go. We even talked about this shoulder, head, shoulder that formed here on the RSI, and I was saying, if this is not a bull flag, guys, we're going to see this drop into a level of some more fear, and that's basically what we saw here. We've seen a massive sell-off here, and so my question is, again, are we going to end up in this red zone down here? This again would indicate possibly, us being in the way oversold zone. Now we are looking a little bit oversold, but again, it's kind of 50-50 right now, right? And this is what happens when we're in a downtrend, right? We're looking for good zones of accumulation that show that we're also oversold. I'd rather be in the oversold than be in this middle zone or be in this overbought zone right here. But again, Bitcoin is going to require some good positive price action, and this is why I always say that a good healthy correction is more round. It's not as sharp as some of these other corrections that we've seen on Bitcoin, right? When we start seeing this thing jump up and create this rising wedge, it's not a time to necessarily be rejoicing. It's a time to be paying attention, and that's what I've been saying on the channel. We have not gotten a trend reversal signal yet, so again, we're still in the midst of a correction, but it could be possible that we're getting pretty close to the bottom of this correction based off the fear greed index. Again, when these guys are greedy, I'm fearful, and when they're fearful, I'm greedy. When Bitcoin was sitting way high, I was telling you guys, hey, the greed is very high. Every time we get into this green zone right here, we're in an overbought zone. We've also been talking about every time we see rejection, we start falling into this yellow zone as well. So paying attention to all this, again, I do like the fact that Bitcoin is looking like it's seeing a lot of fear right now, because I am somebody that is long on Bitcoin. I'm accumulating Bitcoin for the long term. You do what you want, of course. I'm not telling you guys what to do with your money. Also, we're seeing some sell-off on Ethereum as well. So Ethereum coming in at 2,900. And again, I'm wondering if Bitcoin wants to see more sell-off, can we see a cheaper Ethereum? Realistically, I think if Bitcoin wants to drop below 80K, guys, I do think that Ethereum is probably going to be around 2,000, maybe even a little bit lower than that. I would think would be a realistic bottom. I want to talk about some Toshi just because I know a lot of people are holding Toshi, a lot of people are long on Toshi. And Toshi is probably the number one project on base in terms of community and in terms of just the amount of people that are still holding this coin. So as you guys can see, Toshi coin coming in at 166 million right now. We dropped as low as like 140 something, and Toshi coin actually seeing a pretty good sized move just the other day on the 22nd. So This was when Bitcoin was moving a lot, but again, I'm looking for a sign of confirmation and I'm looking for some bullish activity really on a Thursday. I don't like weekend pumps. I don't like when the market's moving on Saturday. I'm paying attention to all these things. Again, Toshi's starting to see some sideways movement on some of these more micro charts, but I'm looking more on these a little bit more macro than that, right? We're also seeing on the 1-day chart as well that we possibly could have a rejection here off of this bottom level of the Skelter channel. If that is the case, again, we talk about sometimes when we trend underneath this bottom line, it could be a slippery slope, right? We've seen a rejection happen here and this triggered a massive sell. Again, we're seeing a rejection happen here. I'm wondering if there's going to be a massive sell-off. I do think Toshi's been moving pretty accordingly with the market, so I do still think that there's a demand for this. A lot of people still purchasing this. As you guys can see, a lot of buy orders still coming in. And it even seems like today a good amount of people still buying in. Some people buying in pretty heavy. You can see this guy dropped like 750 bucks. Been seeing people drop some decent sized money. This guy dropping 587. A lot of people dropping 500, stuff like that. So again, this is a decent sized price action in a market like this. But are these guys buying a falling knife, or is this actually a zone of accumulation? Again, in my opinion, not a crazy zone of accumulation. Toshi Coin could definitely turn this around, but I'm definitely paying attention to this trend because again, we got to turn it around from here, right? We've got a couple things that are forming here that are a little bit concerning on Toshi, but it's still holding some levels, right? We got a shoulder head shoulder here that is forming and it's seen some sell off. We saw that happen here, right? Shoulder head shoulder, rejection of this top Keltner channel and a dump down, and then look, now we're creating also a bear flag alongside Bitcoin. In my opinion, guys, Toshi Coin is really moving one-to-one with Bitcoin, and that's why we always talk about Bitcoin on the channel. I think a lot of these coins are creating the same bear flag signal, and that's exactly what we're seeing happen on Bitcoin on the 1-year chart. Bitcoin's 1-year chart looking kind of similar to Toshi's chart on this, what is this, a weekly chart? Yeah, on this weekly chart, you guys can see we have this bear flag forming here, similar to Bitcoin's yearly chart where we have again this bear flag forming here. So in my opinion, this is the market sitting in speculation mode, but Toshi Coin again still showing signs of demand. It's just kind of like, when will the market move, determine whether this coin wants to move or not. I still am very bullish on Toshi. Again, I'm not changed my stance on this coin. I do think that this market takes time to move, guys. It's not going to happen when we want it to happen. It's going to happen when the market wants it to happen. So again, I'm looking more towards, possibly a Q1 recovery. It can happen in Q4. It can happen in Q4. I'm not saying we're totally cooked. Again, you guys could see on the monthly chart too, Toshi Coin holding a little bit of resistance in this zone. This is the main level of support that Toshi Coin is holding right now, is off of this. And we could bounce off of this and look, we'll still be in an uptrend, right? So even though Toshi sees some sell-off, it hasn't fully broken down Bitcoin yet. This thing could actually go a lot lower if it does to want to break down lower than this. But at the same time, I just see this as a coin that has a lot of demand still. I still see this as a coin, personally, in my opinion, that could still hit $1 billion, and that's almost a 10x from here. So again, I'm paying attention to Toshi, man. I don't think that times like now are insane level of I don't think now would be a crazy time to be dollar cost averaging into projects that I like. So I'm paying attention again to the Bitcoin trend. I'm watching some of these more longer term indicators. We'll see what happens, guys. I want to know what you guys think though. Are you still bullish on this cycle? Do you think that Q4 could still be good? Again, if we could break above 92, we possibly could see Bitcoin go on a run. And really, anything can happen when it comes to Bitcoin, especially in Q4. This price can move very, very fast. But at the same time, again, I don't bet against the trend. If anything, honestly, today I might be even looking for a short on this because we've already seen rejection here, right? This rising wedge, this sideways motion. In my opinion, this is looking like a classic short. But we've seen these guys get stopped out before in the past. So the market's going to move. It's going to make up its mind. In my opinion, today is not going to be a day where it makes up its mind, but tomorrow probably will be. I don't know of any important events that are coming up anytime soon that would indicate a sell-off or indicate any pump. So we'll be watching this pretty closely. As you guys can see, Bitcoin showing a lot of sideways motion here. So we'll see if Bitcoin still has the demand. I want to know, are you guys buying in on this dip, or do you guys think that Bitcoin just needs to have one more leg down? We're already about close to 30% from the top right now on this drop, and again, this is totally normal on Bitcoin. I told you guys kind of like what normal corrections look like. The main chart that I'm concerned about is this all-time chart right here. This is showing a sign of significant correction, to be honest with you. And then also our not our fear greed index, but our stock to flow chart and some of these other more macro indicators showing again that Bitcoin needs to see some significant sell-off, to be honest with you. So again, it's always speculative. Nobody really knows what's going to happen in the market. I'm in it just like you guys, trying to figure it out. So again, we'll see what's going on, but I want to know your guys' opinion. A lot of very good traders watch this channel. So what do you guys think? Do you guys think that Bitcoin has already found its bottom? Do you think that a retest of 80K is necessary? Or again, do you think that we need to go lower than 80K? I want to know. Let me know in the comment section. Again, if you guys enjoy these videos and you want me to make more of these videos, make sure you're liking the video, make sure you're commenting on it, and yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.